All right, we're back. Today we're going to be looking at meal cold weathers. These are a cold weather ration that have dehydrated food components so they don't freeze. These are meals that are used in Arctic environments. Now, the only drawback with using meal cold weathers is they use a lot of water. When you account for the water you have to pack in for your meal, on top of the water you need to account for through your daily use, it becomes a lot. Um, Being in a cold Arctic environment, sometimes you might have access to snow, but then you have to carry a lot of fuel to melt all that ice or snow to get it into you and your meals to rehydrate. And if we just want to look at these numbers to understand, so a soldier will use 3 of these meals a day, which some of the meals vary in calories, but generally they're about 1,250 calories to 1,600 calories per meal. So you times that by 3 meals, and you're looking at about a 4 to 5,000 calorie day. But under heavy exertion in the snow environment, you could easily burn through 6 or 7,000 calories. So you will be running a deficiency on your calorie intake, and you can't sustain that for very long. For water usage, each meal uses around 3 bottles of water, 16.9 ounces of water, 3 bottles, 3 standard bottles. So, as a rule, they tell soldiers to allocate at least 1.5 liters of water per meal. So, if you're carrying 2 or 3 of these, you can see how that quickly adds up. And just to get an idea of your water needs, which we're not even talking about the water for your meals, just your water needs to stay hydrated in an Arctic environment under light or minimal exertion, you're looking at 4 to 6 bottles of water a day, 2 to 3 liters. Medium exertion, which would be skiing, patrolling, you're looking at 4 to 5 liters of bottles of water a day. That's already 8 to 10 bottles. Under heavy exertion, marching, digging, sustained operations, you're looking 6 to 8 plus liters, which is already 11 to 14 to possibly 16 bottles of water a day, on top of the water needs you'll need to rehydrate your meals. So it's a huge trade off. You're trading some weight, but you have to also allocate your water, and you can't sustain yourself through, consuming ice or snow. You'll lower your core temperature and you end up going into hypothermia. So, you know, it's a double edged sword, uh, but let's look at the meals here. So, this is the meal cold weather. They come in a case like this. This is actually the top of the case where you would open it. Let's turn it sideways so you can see the writing on this. Meal cold weather, 12 of them come to a case. This case was manufactured by Sipaco. And we have our usual government wording there. And let's see what we got here. This is the bottom of the case. It shows you the inspection date, the pack date, and the lot, which this was packed on the 221st day of 2023. So it has an inspection test date of 8/2026. These are still within a good time period to use, as we're still in 2025. And because these feature freeze-dried meals, the main meals sometimes can last 40 to 50 years if they're stored properly. This little red sticker, if you're not sure what this is a TTI sticker, time temperature indicator sticker. When the center dot is darker or dark as the outer ring, it shows that this case has been heat stressed and possibly will not last as long as it should have. So when you're purchasing cases, this is what you want to see. They're usually stored on the bottom of the case, so it could show how the case was stored. I got this case from Ammo Can Man. He's a great provider, very reasonably priced. So let's get into this case and see what meal we're going to experience today. If you open your case and you don't see a flap right here, you opened it upside down. You don't have to cut through these. There's always a fold right on top. And today it's going to be menu number 2, Spicy Oriental Chicken with rice. All right, let's put this on the side. Let me get this out of the way. All right. We have a date code here, 219th day of 2023. Menu number 2, Spicy Oriental Chicken with rice. All right, so it has a peelable seal just like the regular MREs. And let's see how it works. Yeah, this one's gonna fight me. Nope, that's not gonna go. So we're gonna bust out the trusty knife. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. Cranberries, 2 ounces. Our trusty GI issue spoon. We have a mocha dessert bar, 1.4 ounces. Beverage base, powder, lemon lime, no fruit juice. Nut raisin mix with pan-coated chocolate disc. Those are M&Ms. Ah, look at this. I love it when I see coffee. We have a decent accessory pack. We'll get into that when we're done. And we have the star of the show. Nothing else in there. This is the main. This is 5.29 ounces. This is manufactured by Mountain House. They make a lot of camping foods. They're like the leaders in this. And that is solid. Add 16 ounces of hot water, which is 3/4 canteen, to pouch, stir, wait 10 minutes. May be added. Extra water may be added in stages to keep food hot. All right. Our accessory packet. We got white tip army matches. We got sugar. We have a coffee non-dairy creamer. We have the beloved Bill's Brew. It's really a shame that they're getting rid of coffee in the new rations. I think that's a huge mistake. If anyone knows how long coffee has been included in rations, please put it in the comment. It's got to be 50, 60 years. Moist towelette. Lighthouse toilet paper with the phone number on it. If you run out, you can call them. They'll airdrop you some. We got some gum. And look at the color of this Tabasco. That's good looking Tabasco. Nice. And that's everything. All right, so we're going to plate this up. I'm going to get the water ready, and we're going to start enjoying this fantastic meal cold weather. Stand by. All right, we're back. We got everything plated up. This looks actually fantastic. We have our freeze-dried main of Spicy Oriental Chicken with rice. That's a 5.2 ounce, 150 gram main. We got cranberries, 2 ounces, mocha dessert bar, 1.4 ounce, our pan-coated chocolate disc with nut raisin mix. That is a, how much is this? 1 package, 66 grams. All right, let's take care of this while our water's still hot. I don't want to lose out on the temperature here. Oh, I don't even know where that thing went, but whatever. Let's open this up. Wow, that smells pretty amazing. I'm not sure if there's a do not eat in there. But whatever, I guess we'll find it when we dump it. I don't see anything. So this calls for 16 ounces of water, which is going to be a pretty big amount. Remember, with these meals, once you add the water in, you can't take it out. So you could always add more later. Wow, if you could smell the smell coming out of this, it's ridiculous. This is my first time actually having one of these, so please excuse me if I'm not doing everything right. It already seems like it's thickening up here. So let's see if we could, yeah, let's add a little more. All right. We're going to close this up nicely. I got a little clip here. All right, we'll set that there. Let's make our coffee. We got some sugar. The smell coming off that main is ridiculous. I'm already hungry. Non-dairy creamer and the Bill's brew. I'm going to make a light cup. And we have stuff all over our spoon. So let's get the napkins out. All right, there we go. I have not counted the sheets, but I'm told there's about 20 sheets there. So you got to make it happen with what you have. All right. Looks like we have some little flakes that did not rehydrate properly, but that water's pretty hot, so I don't think they'll have any problem rehydrating. There, you see them floating to the top? They're showing their face again. All right. Cranberries. And they seem to be coated in some type of oil because they're glistening. Sunflower oil. Oh, look at that. That actually looks pretty good. Nice high fat contents. Mocha dessert bar. looks actually pretty perfect. That smells delectable. Let's move this out of the way temporarily so we could make our beverage. It's actually pretty nice to see a decent amount of beverages, which this isn't really a decent amount. We have coffee and we have a lemon lime fruit juice with no fruit juice. Now on these pouches, mix them in the pouch. There's a fill line right there. That's what we're going to use to gauge how far we're filling this. Make sure there's no powder on the seam, and then fold it on the Ziploc and then fold it again. Clamp it, hold it. Give it a good shake. Now you could drink it out of the pouch. That's why we have these little hourglass shape. See? But for you guys, we're going to pour it in the glass just so you can see what it looks like. And that actually looks pretty good. Now I see something on the bottom there, and we're going to get all of it. There we go. Now that looks good. Perfect. Nothing left in there. All right, let's give our coffee a taste here. Everything hydrated up nicely. We don't need the knife no more. Canteen's done. Here we go. That's good. Try our nuts. Very lightly roasted. Not overly done. No salt is added to the peanuts. One thing you'll never see in these meals is an extra salt packet. They don't want you to dehydrate yourself because you're already running in a deficit of water hydration. So a lot of the salt is already in the meals, but they will not give you extra salt. So in this we have some peanuts, whole and halves. We have some pan-coated discs, which are M&Ms, almonds, hazelnuts, raisins, walnuts, and that seems pretty much it. Yeah, that looks like either a big peanut. Yeah, that's a big peanut. That's the hazelnut. And they actually taste really good without any salt. It's not a thirst-provoking snack. High fat, which you'll need. A lot of these winter meals, high fat, high protein. So let's get a handful here. That's good. Let's get a handful of these cranberries. They really taste good. Natural flavor. There's some good amount of moisture in them. They're not too wet. The pieces almost look like they're halves of cranberries. They're not little tiny pieces. They're nice chunks. I mean, look at that one right there. That's one piece. That's a pretty decent sized cranberry. They're soft, not too dry. Get a nice little handful here. Let's try the drink. Radioactive Ecto Cooler. That's good. Not overly sweet. All right, let's see what this main looks like. Oh, wow. That is ridiculous looking. Perfectly hydrated. Yep. That's ready to come out. I don't know if you can see in there, but that looks amazing. That really does. So let's just plop it out and get into it. Look at that. All of it came right out. And look at the size of that thing. Looks like we have a little dry spot right there. But oh my goodness, look how much there is of this. That thing is literally taking up the whole portion. I see red peppers, mushrooms. Look at that rice. Rice. What is this? Chicken? Beans. Look at that. We got little beans. That's actually a water chestnut. I think this is a little piece of chicken. We have some Chinese vegetables in here. Yep, that's chicken. Wow. That is actually crazy how good this is. If I was in the field, freezing my butt off, marching all day in the winter, tundra, this would definitely warm me up and put me to bed. Let's give it a first bite here. Wow. That actually tastes like home-cooked food. These freeze-dried meals are really amazing because they don't skimp on flavor. And I think I got it right on the money. It's not too runny. This is going to be tough to get completely down. Take a nice big bite right here. I can't get enough of this. This thing is ridiculous. Not that it needs it, but let's throw some heat into this. That's almost a whole bottle. The vinegar smell that's coming off this is already making my mouth water. I can't get over how much of this. Look at this. Get a nice taste here. Look at that. Vegetables, mushrooms, rice, green beans, red peppers, water chestnuts. Wow. That heat perfectly puts it in balance. This doesn't need anything. I'm not going to mix nothing in it because there's nothing that needs boosting or extra. This is ridiculous right here. If you have not had menu number 2, which this is my first time having it, that is insane. This is so filling and it is so dense. I'm not really catching much of a spicy vibe off this spicy Oriental rice with chicken. It's very flavorful. You can almost definitely add more water to this. It's very pronounced chicken flavor. It's almost like a really concentrated chicken broth, but I don't want it to get confused with chicken broth because it doesn't have a chicken broth taste. It's chicken flavored, but it's packed with flavor. It's almost like they used a better than bouillon chicken base for this because it is definitely packed with flavor. And that's why I say you could definitely go probably more liquid than you need to make this a little more runnier. And it definitely wouldn't dilute the flavor. Very strong taste of herbs and oriental base flavorings. This is definitely packed with flavor. If I reconstituted this and threw this on a plate and gave it to an average person, no way they would think this came from a freeze-dried pouch, let alone a meal cold weather. The chicken has outstanding texture. It doesn't taste like a reconstituted chicken. There are some nice chunks of chicken in it. It's not the cubed chicken that we're used to. There are some nice stringy pieces of chicken in here. That almost tasted like a little piece of ginger. This is a little piece of chicken right here. You know how when you reconstitute a camping meal, sometimes you still have that weird texture in the middle of the meat? This is not like that. I mean, the vegetables, this looks like either a Asian green bean or possibly even mung bean. Good texture. I'm not going to be able to finish this. This is insane how packed with flavor and how heavy this is. I know in the Mountain House meals, it's usually a 2-serving meal. So when you finally sit down and eat, you're actually eating 2 servings. Let's see what they have to say on this. It said serving size is 1 pouch, 580 calories, 70 grams of fat, 2.5 grams saturated fat, 60 milligrams of cholesterol, 2,620 milligrams of sodium, 109%, 98 grams carbs, dietary fiber 7 grams, sugar 9 grams, a whopping 32 grams of protein. Wow. We got cooked chicken, rice, mushroom, water chestnuts, red peppers, dry soy sauce, teriyaki powder, maltodextrin, salt, spices, onion, garlic powder, brown sugar, sunflower oil, sesame oil, soybean oil, garlic powder. Wow, this was a home run. Definitely a home run. If you have not had the opportunity to try a freeze-dried meal, they take Mountain House meals to a whole nother level. They're good, but if you had Mountain House meals, don't get them confused with meal cold weathers, because they're on just a whole nother level. All right, I am not going to be able to finish this. As much as I'm trying, this thing is dense. I'm already sweating. Let's look at this. Thick brownie bar, waxy. All right, so 1 bar is 40 grams, 220 calories, 15 grams fat, 8 grams saturated fat, no trans fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, 25 milligrams sodium, 22 grams carbohydrates, 1 gram dietary fiber, 19 grams sugar, 276 milligrams of potassium. We got protein, 2 grams. So this is more of a comfort food. A lot of vitamins, not that much sugar. We got iron, calcium, potassium. Wow, and that is thick. That'll go very well with the coffee. Take another bite of this. Has a very waxy, I mean, look at it, you can see my teeth marks. Very waxy consistency, but I mean, you could see into that. That is dense. That's good. That really is good. That's nice. Okay, I am officially stuffed. I really am. I'm definitely going to have to break this up and finish this in a couple of hours. And then after a couple of hours, finish my cranberries. And, you know, we didn't get too much into this. Let's try a hazelnut. Very good. I like that they don't put salt on the end of this. It doesn't make it very thirst-provoking. I especially like how the peanuts are almost undercooked. You know, when you get a peanut that is over roasted, it almost becomes bitter. That's nowhere over roasted. That's really good. I love walnuts. Walnuts are good. Who doesn't love M&Ms? M&Ms are great. Okay, let's try an almond and a raisin. All right. Wow. I'm really stuffed. I'm almost embarrassed that I didn't even put a dent into this. All right, let's check out the moist towelette. Moist towelette. All right. Has the typical moist towelette smell. Nothing fragrant. It just has that wet paper smell with the mild deodorant liquid. All right, that works out nicely. Green non-fruit juice drink. Always nice having these. I wish they would give you more of these. These you should have 2 or 3 mandatory in every MRE. Okay, so Spicy Oriental Chicken with rice. Absolutely amazing. Cranberries, nice size, not too dry, not too chewy. The nut mix, definitely a nice addition. Definitely like that no salt was on them and they weren't over roasted. Give you more of a wholesome, natural kind of fruit mix. The mocha dessert bar, definitely a hit. Lemon lime beverage, always a hit. Tabasco sauce, that's awesome. Obviously, this really didn't need it. But if you want to kick it up, throw some heat in there, that's always a nice option. Bill's Brew coffee with sugar and non-dairy creamer. Sad to see you go. It's unfortunate. I don't know if the Meal Cold Weathers are going to continue rocking coffee. I think so. But as far as the regular MREs lineup, they're eliminating, which I think is a big mistake. So if someone's watching that does the actual MRE procurement, put the coffee back in, man. Really, even if they toss it, how much are you throwing away? Keep the coffee. All right, that's pretty much it. That has been a 2003 production of A Meal Cold Weather by Sapaco. Menu number 2, Spicy Oriental Chicken with rice. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and comment. If there's something you want to see, drop it in the comment. I'm always looking for new great ideas. And again, I want to thank you, my subscribers, for bringing this channel even further along. I am so excited about creating more content. Let me know what you like, what you dislike, and I'll see if I can change it up to make it better. Thank you again. Have a great night.